and welcome back to Rory's Workshop. Today the weather is fantastic. As you see me in the background, we've got an exciting project coming up. This is going to be the car I'm going to be navigating in for King of Britain. I'm doing this with the Royal Navy Royal Marines off-road team. You can see the logo on the side of the truck. And I've got it just to make sure, just to cast my eye over it really and make sure everything's right before we go through scrutineering and everything. What we normally do is with the British Army Motorsports Association, and we compete doing their off-road navigational events. I'll put a link down in the description for them because they're really good. I've won them a couple of times and so has Squid, and it is a really good way of getting anybody who's in the military. It doesn't seem to be well known in the military, and it's good for people in the military who want to drive off-road, or if they own their own Land Rovers, to get time to go off and off-road and learn that sort of art, really. As it is a lost skill in the Navy. It's certainly a lost skill in the Navy, but it certainly seems to be diminished, or doesn't have the same sort of draw in the army as what it used to. So this is a 110, obviously tray back. It's got the full tray back roll cage on it, 300 TDI, R380, Salisbury rear diff, and it's on currently running 10 spline. But at the moment, we're building a rear axle to go in it, which will be 24 spline. We'll change the front axle as well. Whether we get that done in time before King of Britain, that's in the middle of June. Hopefully, we will be doing King of Britain, as long as the MSA gives us the permission to go ahead, and obviously the government lockdown and what have you, then we will be booling on up there. So Squid sent it to me. Squid's Rob Cozens. He's the owner of this truck and builder of this truck. He's been working very hard over the last couple of years to get it to its current state. And you can see the various companies that we've worked with in the past: X-Eng Engineering, RAC, Giggle Pin, Raptor Engineering around the back. Obviously, Baymac and Super Pro are team sponsors and have been with us for a number of years now. And we do thank all of our sponsors very much and the assistance that they give us. And obviously, we do try and push their kit out as much as we can. Anyone who you see their name on the truck, they've helped us in some way, and we cannot thank them enough. Go and help us and support them, and it's just an all-round good thing. So the main thing that this one's here for is we need to, underneath, we need to put a belly pan on. So I'm going to get one laser cut, and then I'll fabricate it up so it clears like the prop shaft. I'm going to try and smooth out using plates as much as I can, like the cross member. And just so in case we get hung up on anything, we're trying to minimise the chances of that. I might do something with the rear radius arm connections there. I might sort of make a blank to go over them, just in case we do get hung up. I don't think we will, but it may come a problem in the future. So a quick walk around then. Obviously, we've got Wolf rims on beadlocks with the Inter Turbos, 285 70/16s, front and rear winches, courtesy of Giggle Pin. Chaps down there, and yeah, we've been very lucky with a lot of the guys who we've worked with. It's just a really nice, simple truck. It's going to have lockers in it. We've got some lockers coming. They'll be fitted hopefully in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not too sure yet. We will find out. So what sort of thing am I going to be doing and looking for? As I say, Squid's been doing an awful lot of work on this, and if you're working on a car on your own and you're doing an awful lot of in-depth work, doing all sorts of random things, you need to be aware of things that you may slightly overlook. Not on purpose, but things do happen. So it's always good to get somebody else to have a look at it. Obviously, this is taxed and tested, and it is used on the road as per the regulations for what we normally compete in with the Barmer boys. But what I'm going to be doing is mainly looking through. We're going to be changing the headlights, because the headlights on this are woeful at best, and they're motorcycle headlights, and they're not quite, well, they're not right for the car, and they are woeful. They are, I think candles would have lit more light in a gale force 9 storm. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pulling off all the stuff that surrounds the engine bay and going through the wiring. Squid isn't the guy who wired this. Another guy has, and you know, if you look at my Instagram, you'll see how much I love Scotch blocks and things like this. So there's things like this. These headlights are coming out anyway. I'm going to repair all of this, but first of all, I need to give it a good wash underneath, make sure it's all clean underneath for me to weld to later on. And also it gives me a good chance to have a look at the chassis and go through it like that. Things like this, these sort of connections are great to sort of get you out of a bind, but insulating tape around it, it's not great. It's not waterproof, and especially where it is with, you know, mud could be flung up by the tyres and it'll wreck it. Also, he's fitted another battery, so there is another alternator coming from Gwyn Lewis. I'm going to wire that in when that kit arrives and just make it an even more reliable truck. But I thought for now, I'll show you what it is and what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'm going to leave it on the trailer to wash because it's far easier for me to get underneath when it's up higher, of course. And then we'll go from there. Naturally, I'll take you along. No doubt in the next bit, there'll be something else. I hope anyway. Otherwise, I may as well just bloody well give up. See you in a sec. So here we are now in the car. I need to run out to Sainsbury's and get some essentials, so I thought I'd bring you along and do a little bit of a review. I've not done anything like this before, so we'll see how this goes. What's it like to drive? Well, it's a lifted 110. It drives really well. It's very, very good at what it's designed and built to do. It is a little bit loud. There is absolutely no sound deadening in here, and obviously the interturbos, neighbour, and naturally the interturbos do hum a bit as we do move along the road. It brakes really well. The steering is there. There is some. I quite like it. Once you're in, you're in. It is a little bit difficult to get in and out. But to be fair, again, it's a lifted 110. This has the Discovery gearbox in it, so naturally the selectors push back into the back, which actually I quite like. It's a lot more easy to drive and a bit more user friendly. You'll probably see in the background a whole load of Union Jacks and what have you. It's VE Day tomorrow, so that gives you an idea when this was filmed. This on our Instagram page, I will put some photos up and we will have this out on show for people walking past our place. But yeah, back to the car. It's a great car. It doesn't do many road miles because obviously it is a competition vehicle, but it's good fun. It's guarantees to put a smile on your face. I do like the power steering on this. My 90 doesn't have power steering. So having power steering, especially on something with tyres as big as this, it does make a hell of a difference. And the wheel, the little knob on the wheel, not the knob behind the wheel, that's a different thing altogether, does make a hell of a difference, particularly at slow speeds, of course. And yeah, that's about it. It does get noisy in here, that's why I've recorded now before I get onto the national speed limit roads, because it'll probably hum. But I'll keep recording to show you what it's like. And when you poke it, it does move. This turbo smells really nice. It's got a boost pin in it, and it does have the other ring, I think, in it. Other than that, it's a fairly standard 300 TDI. But to be honest, it's built for reliability, and that's why it's gone for the 300 TDI. It does keep toying with the idea of TD5ing, dropping a TD5 in this, but at the moment the 300 TDI pulls so well. Unless something catastrophically fails on it, I will keep it as is. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments. back to you in a moment. When we get onto the national speed limit, we'll show you what it's like. At the moment I've got the window open as well, so there's a bit of wind noise, because in here it does get very hot very quickly. Unfortunately the flaps on the front don't open too far because of the roll cage, but I'd rather have that bar there than flaps really. But we do have the military style single skin lift handle doors. The door tops do come off, but we'll keep them on for now. The suspension in this is actually it's very compliant. It's not as, it is quite smooth. The tyres I've just pumped over to 30 psi, so it's not really using the sidewall of the tyre, because they were down at, I think they were all at 15. Maybe I won't film us doing 6 miles an hour because it's cyclists. No problem. And I'm not a knobhead, so I don't smoke them out. The brakes are good on this as well. We've got a new vacuum pump on the engine which we fitted a couple of months ago. It's got disc on the front, it's got the original drums on the back on a Salisbury rear axle, and it works very well. We've never had any sort of problems with it, thankfully, but we are, as I said before, we're changing the rear axle for a disc brake axle, and we're taking the Salisbury out and putting a pegged 4-pin in. So as much as it is important, especially during this lockdown, to stay home, it's also important for you to get your classic cars and use them. Like me now, I'm going to the shops, you've got to get them out, otherwise you'll have a little bit of work to do, I suspect, when you come out. You've probably seen on Instagram that I've taken generally a different car each week. That's because you've got to get them up to temperature and you've got to use them, because they can be quite finicky things. So the tray back is now in the workshop, and now it's time to make a start on getting ready for King of Britain. Things that I'm going to be looking for are things like that. I'm going to be having a look at all of this. I'm debating whether to rip out this loom. I'm going to inspect it all and possibly replace it. I've replaced a loom in the past, and I've replaced it with a sort of aftermarket loom. I did it on my Opel Manta. Oh my word. Oh no. And I like the replacement looms because all the wires have got all the stamped into the wires. They've all got the names of what they're for, with the left front headlight, indicator and side light and stuff. But I don't want to do it. I'd rather try and use what we've got. I'll have a look through and see, but things like these Scotch blocks, I bloody detest them. And the thing is, this wire, it looks like it could feed the other side. Oh, there's a wire coming across. So there's things like that aren't great. All the earths are sort of twisted together, and they're done to a standard. It's just lower than mine. So yeah, so I'll have a look at. Oh, well, they were just bloody twisted together. Perfect. So yeah, so I'm not expecting great things whilst looking at this, and like I said before, I'm a massive fan of having reliability built in. And if you're doing a night navigation, all of a sudden you lose all your lights because one of these is shorted out, it's going to take you weeks to bloody find it. Whilst we're under here, you can see I've taken the side panels off. I've started mounting the Gwyn Lewis additional bracket. I've got the bits coming for that later on. And it's also a good time to have a look around. I think the other side, actually, I think this is backwards, because it seems to be a bit too far forward for me. Needs to be leaning back a bit, but I don't know because it might hit here. I don't know. I'll have a play. But there's quite a lot of sort of electrical gremlins that need to be played with, and we'll work our way through, as well as having to do the frame, the plate for underneath. But that's not too much of a hardship. Today, I'm not going to suddenly dig into anything. I'm going to have a look at what spares we've got, because we've got some spares from some of our sponsors. And then we'll sort of try and make and formulate a plan. Let's have a look at what we've got. So from the boys at SuperPro are fantastic company, and I fit SuperPro to most of my cars. The 90's got it, the Morris has got it, the Alvaland will have it when it comes out, and I love SuperPro. They're really good, and they're just down the road from us, which is an added bonus. Or at least the UK department. So a big shout out to Rich and Nick from SuperPro. Fantastic help, and we really get on really well with them. Gwyn Lewis. Obviously, we've got the Gwyn Lewis alternator, second alternator kit for running the winches. I'm just waiting on some other parts coming from them, and then we'll get all that built in. The headlights have come from the guys at Get Off Road. There's a bag. GetOffRoad.com. There they are. And we got these parts back in September when we went to the Land Rover show, the Great British Land Rover show up there. So great shout to them for all of that. Other things I'm going to be doing is these top lights up here. I'm going to be changing them because they've filled up with water. I've got another set from eBay here. And I'll replace it. I'll make these a bit more watertight than how they were originally. Again, for a bit more reliability. And just have a general look around the car, make sure it's all right. Obviously, I'll do a separate video of us throwing on the SuperPro stuff. I really rate SuperPro stuff. I cannot rate it highly enough. It is super easy to fit. The pain in the backside is getting all the old stuff out. But there's a couple of tricks that you can do. And that's about it, really. It's sort of, we're going to put new headlights in. We're going to remove these awful ones. And probably place them in front, as long as they're behind the bumper. I don't really mind, and then wire it in. So I'm gonna have a flick through, and I'll catch up with you in a moment. So I've just taken out all the indicators and inspected them. I think it's going to be easier for me to fit new. That one's covered in silicone. The wings have the holes, proper holes cut out, so it does fit in there quite nicely. But anyway, so I'm looking at the loom, and we're going to replace the headlight anyway, and we need to replace the side light. I don't know why they were twisted together, but they were. So you got some form of connector in there with a... Oh, right, okay, it's cut on. And, this is why you try and do it right first time, because, I mean, that indicator... That'll clean up okay, but like this, it's why you don't wrap things in insulating tape, because when stuff gets in, it stays there, and then when you get moisture inside some dodgy connections like these, it starts to corrode the wires, and it just turns into a right mare. So I think I'm gonna give Squid a call tonight. In fact, now let's do a little bit more digging, shall we? Let's have a look around. Let's go move to the rear, and let's see. So you can see here. So obviously I'm on my own, so bear with me. So you can see. Let's turn that up, and let's turn that down. Oh, look at that. This is good because I get to see what I'm doing as well because of the light. Don't cut towards you. I know. Let's see what exciting things are under here. I wonder if the guy who did this had shares in insulation tape. Must have been very careful. Don't do what I do, kids. Oh, even better. Oh, my favourite. Oh my word. Let me just grab another knife. Snip. Out of the way. I found me proper knife. It was where I left it. I mean, there are parts of this, like, you know, with its P-clipped up and it's nice and out of the way, it does look good, but it's the ends that are the problem. We need to look at these lights anyway, because oh, we can't have these, because it's just not very well done. I love finding big bulky bits, because it's like, oh, what's hiding underneath? Oh yes. So a bit of an update then. I've stripped down all the lights on the front end and the back end, and I think I've been mocking up these 6-inch headlights, just working out how I'm going to mount them inside the bracket. I'm not too sure I'm going to do it yet, but we'll endeavour to get there. I think I am going to rewire it, because at the moment it's shoddy at best, really. I mean this light, I took the bulb off, and I thought, oh, actually, I'll just see how bright these new ones are. And the earth fell out of its connector, and it's just not great. So I thought, you know what, I'll have a word with Squid, and I think he might agree with me, and we'll just rewire the whole bloody thing. Unfortunately, this headlight it slipped off and it's smashed, so there's no going back now. It's a one-way trip. So I'm going to end this episode here. We've done quite a bit today. We've scattered out, and now it's a mission for me to now go. I'm going to go and speak to Baymac and get an alternator on order with them. Get new ones of these, because these ones are full of crap and what have you. So we'll get new ones, and then we know it's good. And you know, I'm a massive advocate for Baymac, and they've always supported us. We'll get some Baymac stickers on, because I don't think we've got them on yet. I do have them. And there's obviously a couple of other circuits that we need to look at. Obviously, all the auxiliary lights are all already plumbed in, but I need to work out if the universal kit I'm going to buy will be able to accept them as well. I can't see any reason why not, really. We'll just put them on main beam. As soon as it hits main beam, we can have them on a separate switch, the bonnet pod on a separate switch. So you can have, obviously, normal main beam, and then you can have all world of light. But apart from that, there's obviously things that we need to order, and I'll get that going now. And then in the meantime, I can be doing with the things tomorrow. I'll measure up for the sump guard, and I'll get that made. Hopefully we'll get that back this week, and we'll go from there. And I'll try and get these videos out more often. My internet is still very poor at best, but hopefully that'll be getting sorted real soon. But thanks very much for watching. Please do think about subscribing, and this is going to be quite a lot of content in here. And obviously, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be competing with it. And hopefully, all we want to do really is finish. So that's all we've got time for today. Thanks very much for watching. See you later. Take care. Bye now.